Good morning, students. My name is Dorothy Sekia and I am a social work academic counselor of Nagaur College IGNOU Study Center. Today I am going to discuss the topic social casework and the various steps of social casework process. Social casework is one of the primary methods of social work which uses the case-to-case approach of for dealing with the families as well as individuals with regard to their problems of social functioning. So it is a humanistic attempt of helping the poor who have difficulty in coping or who have social dysfunctioning or who are not able to cope with the daily problems. Social casework process is an ongoing movement of the continuing development of the case which includes several activities like some carried out by the caseworker, some by the client or some by both the client and the social worker together. So the first step in social casework process is study. So study is the systematic study of the client and his circumstance in relation to the problem. The caseworker has to collect information from the client about his problems and associated problems. And apart from it, the social caseworker has to collect informations like age, sex, medical status, health conditions, personality features, income, nature of employment, home and neighborhood, family conditions, then family history, like any significant event or history that took place in the life of the client, and any kind of relationships that may have left a deep impact upon the client, or etc. But what all these all these things are not important in every case, because case to case it differs. However, it is not possible to gather all the informations about a client or to go in depth or to gather or to know the in and out of a client within 1 or 2 days. We need some more time to go in depth or to collect more information about the client. Here one thing is very important in casework process is the principle of confidentiality. So whatever informations the client has revealed to the caseworker has to keep all the informations in a confidential way. Like he can't disclose the whatever informations the client has told him. He can't reveal all the informations. He has to maintain he has to maintain everything in a confidential way. Then here another factor is very important in social casework is the principle of a purposeful or a good rapport, the principle of building a good rapport. So there should be a good rapport between the caseworker and the client. So such kind of good relationships between the client and the caseworker will help the caseworker to gather more information about the client. When the client becomes more familiar with the caseworker, he will reveal more information to the caseworker. In case of school children, their attitude towards school, their academic performance and behavior, their relationship in the school, etc. are included. So the informations, whatever information we collect, it differs from person to person, case to case. So while dealing with the school children, we don't need the informations that are needed with regard to elderly people or with regard to adolescents. So the informations, whatever informations we need, it differs from person to person, or from age group to different, or from different like from age group, from different kinds of age groups. When the family is a joint family, informations about the members of the family are also important. So when the family is an extended family, we need the informations of every members of the family. So in certain cases we come across that the client is not willing to express or is not not very, doesn't show their willingness to express his emotions or express his feelings. So in such a situation, we can approach his friends or family in order to gather the informations. So apart from it, through observation, we can also gather information. Suppose we can observe through the physical appearance, or the personality features also reflect or reveal a lot. So we can sometimes we can figure out informations simply by observing the clients, but we can gather all the information simply by observing. We need interviews in order to gather informations. But in some cases, for getting certain kind of some informations, we can just observe the client, but we can't rely only on observation for collecting the information about the client. To obtain data or to understand the client in a better way, the caseworker can formulate certain kind of hypothesis. And observation, interviewing, recording, questionnaire, etc. are the methods for data collection and study. Okay. So the next step is intake. So intake is the administrative procedure to take a person with a problem and admit him as a client in the agency. So this process starts with the first encounter and it just ends up usually. So after that, here the caseworker has to make a skillful observation into the problems of the client or the person in his situation. In the initial interview with the would-be client, the caseworker is able to assess what are the problems of the client and and how and where that problem can be best solved. So in the intake stage, the caseworker is more concerned. He will make a skillful observation and he will try to understand the problem of the person, the problem of the client, and he will try to figure out what methods or tactics should be used in order to deal with the problem. So here are some major themes for skillful investigation are noted below. So the first one is the stage of problem and the reason for which he comes to the agency. So the caseworker has to understand the stage of problem of the client. So what is the stage of the client at the present stage, at the present at present, what is the stage of problem, how far, or what is the level of the problem, how far, whether the problem has reached to a higher level, or what is the stage of the problem, how the problem has affected the or to what extent the problem has affected the client. The caseworker has to figure out the stage of the problem and the reason for which he comes to the agency, and after that he needs to figure out what is the reason that has led him to come or to approach the agency. Then the nature of request and his relation to the problem. So what is the nature, what is the nature of the request? So like what the clients wants, the caseworker has to figure out what the client's needs or what is what is his request, what he needs to do with the problem and his relation to the problem, and he has to figure out what is the relation, how the problem has affected the client, and the case of his problems, his adjustment in social functioning, family, job, etc. So the caseworker has to figure out how the problem has left an impact on the client, on his social functionings, or on his job, or on his family, or like what are the impacts of the problems on the family, job, friends, etc. So how it has affected, the caseworker has to figure these things out. Then his physical and mental status, including his appearance, dress in the first interview. So after that we are discussing all these things in the intake stage. Okay, so the caseworker has to observe, as we have already said that observation is a important skill in the casework process. So the caseworker has to observe the physical and mental status of the client, and including his appearance. Maybe we can easily figure out, like when we meet a person, we can easily figure it out that he is figure out the mood, how he is feeling. Like maybe when we are very angry, our facial expressions shows, it just reflects how we are feeling at this moment. So the caseworker will try to figure out some kind of informations by observing his appearance and the dress in the first interview. So what kind of dress, the dress also matters a lot. So because the dress, the personality features, your personality features can also be reflected through your dress, the way you are carrying your dress. So these things also matters. So the caseworker will try to figure out the mental status and his physical status, including his appearance and his dress, by the process of observation. And apart from it, observation, as I have already said, like through observation we can't rely on observation solely, but we can just take the help of observation in our casework process. So and then the caseworker can figure out the nature of defense mechanism he uses. So some people have a tendency to rub the fingers in the on their nose. So that kind of defense mechanism, or like when you are trying to hide something, you use your defense mechanisms. So the caseworker will observe what kind of defense mechanism the client is trying to adopt, or what are the defense mechanisms he is frequently using to avoid conversations, or to just hide things from the caseworker. Then appropriateness and intensity of feelings. The caseworker will try to figure out, or will try to measure the appropriateness and intensity of feeling, whether his emotions are real, or how the problem has affected him, or he will figure out the appropriateness, how appropriate is whatever he is saying, whether it is appropriate or not, or the intensity of his feelings, the depth of his feelings. These things need to be observed by the caseworker. Then level of motivation. So how much the caseworker is how much the client is motivated. These things can be observed in the intake stage. Then nature of family, his status, and or like the nature of his family, like whether the family is very supportive or whether they are being unsupported all the times, or the nature of their family, or nuclear family, joint family, how they are, whether they are tied, or whether they have a sense of we feeling or not, or how attached the person is with the family, and what is the status of the family. So here, poor, rich, poor, or these things. Then relation to the reaction to the social worker. So how he is reacting to the social worker, when the caseworker or the social worker, same thing, okay. So when the caseworker is asking or trying to gather the informations from the client, the caseworker has to observe the reaction of the client, how he is reacting to the questions asked by the caseworker. The caseworker has to observe these things, his reactions to the, that is his reactions. Maybe when the caseworker is asking him some private informations, or some informations which he is not willing, which the client is not willing to share, in certain cases how the client will react. Maybe he gets angry, infuriated, or so what is his reaction to the caseworker. These things should be noted. Then the third stage is assessment. So we are done with the study, intake. Now the assessment. So assessment aims at finding answers to questions, to three major questions. So assessment aims at finding answers to three major questions. So what is the problem, how it has arisen, and what can be done to solve the problem. So this stage is mainly concerned with what is the problem, how it has arisen, like what has led the problem to grow, or how the problem can be solved, what tactics, what techniques, skills can be used to solve this problem. The operation underlying social assessment is that of making a conceptual picture of the conceptual picture of the problem leading to a plan of action. So this means that the caseworker has to make a conceptual picture of the problem. He has to just imagine, or just make an he has to make a conceptual picture of the problem. He has to, like, this is the problem, and this has, maybe this is the problem, and these factors has helped in triggering the problem, or this if this problem can't be stopped, it will lead to it can create more problems in the long run. So such kind of conceptual picture is which will help to lead a plan of action. So we can just, it is kind of a like hypothesis, or not exactly hypothesis, we are just assuming, we are just like making a picture. So kind of blueprint, we are just making a blueprint which will help to understand the problem, or which will help to take a plan of action. So it means linking up the contributive factors with the help of theoretical knowledge. So now we have to link the contributing factors, whatever factors are responsible for creating the particular problem, we have to link those contributory factors with the theoretical knowledge. So we have to link up with the contributing factors with the theoretical knowledge, with the bookish knowledge. While studying personal features, attention may be given to the functioning of the systems. So while studying the personality features, we have to consider the three important factors, that is id, ego and superego. So I just hope that you have you can able to understand the id, ego and superego. Just go through the book if you don't understand, because if I again start the topic id, ego and superego, we can just it will take longer time and we may get distracted. So I'll simply tell you what is id, ego and superego. These are personality features. Okay, id, ego and superego. Just go through the book, and if you have any problem, leave it in the comment section. We will try to discuss in the next class what is id, ego and superego. So, okay. So while studying the personality features of a person, we have to consider the three important things, that is id, ego and superego of an individual. Also, deficiencies and defect in child rearing patterns may also be noted down. Okay, so we have to highlight on id, ego and superego, and also we have to throw sufficient light on the child rearing patterns, because the child rearing patterns can have a deep impact on the person in the long run. It may not be sufficient sometimes to formulate social assessment in many cases. So in certain cases, the social assessment is not helpful for to formulate some ideas. In many cases, social assessment may not help us. Then the fourth stage is intervention. So intervene, we have to just interfere or intervene into the problem, okay. So intervention aims at restoring, maintaining and enhancing the social functioning of an individual in the need of help. So here the aim of intervention is to restore, is to maintain and enhance the social functioning of the individual, of the client. The client may have some problems with the social functioning. He may be a maladjusted person, or he is not able to gel up with the friends, or he is not able to do his duties and responsibilities in a proper way, or he may be introvert, or he may have social adjustment problem, maladjusted behavior, isolated, or he may be very aggressive. So these in order to tackle these problems, or social casework can help a lot. And here intervention aims at restoring the good features, restore and maintaining or enhancing the social functioning, to improve the social functioning of the individual. The caseworker intends to improve the psychosocial functioning. Apart from it, the caseworker also tries to improve not only the social functioning but also the psychological functioning or psychological problems. And bring about positive changes in the adaptive patterns, and also to improve the environmental conditions and resources, and also to make them available to the client for his growth and development. So here what is important is that the caseworker has to bring about positive changes in the client. He has to bring changes in the overall, he has to make overall changes in the client. He can't help him directly, but he has to, the caseworker has to help him solve his problem by himself. So he has to develop some positivity within the client, and he has to further, the caseworker has to improve the environmental conditions which may be the cause of the problem, or which may trigger more problems in the long run, or which may be responsible for his problem. So here the social caseworker has to improve, if possible he has to improve the environmental conditions of the client, and also the caseworker has to make the resources available, whatever resources are available, he has to make things accessible or resources available to the client for his growth and development. So suppose he can furnish him some books on personality development, or he can show him some documentary, or he can help him engage in group functions, or help him to become more socialized, or he can help him by entrusting more responsibilities on the client. So these things can be done by the case worker. Intervention starts with the first contact with the client who seeks to solve his problem with the help of a caseworker. So the intervention, it starts with the first contact with the client who has come to the agency in order to solve the problem. In the first stage, attempts are made to build a rapport with the client, and in the first stage, attempts are being made to build a rapport between the caseworker and the client, and also to sustain the client interest in solving his problem. So in the assessment stage, the importance is given on building of a rapport between the client and the caseworker, because see, when we build a relationship with a friend, then only we can easily share our secrets, isn't it? So the when there is a good rapport between the client and the caseworker, it will help the client to share his informations, and which will eventually help the caseworker to tackle or to solve the problem of the client. Interviewing skills and techniques are used in this regard. So here in the assessment process, interviewing skills and techniques are basically used. Privacy is very important in conducting casework, as I have already mentioned that privacy is very important. So privacy, the caseworker has to keep things, whatever informations the client has revealed to the caseworker, the caseworker has to keep things in private, or he has to maintain privacy in this regard. He can't reveal all the informations to his friends or to his family. So this is that should be a deal between the client and the caseworker. So if suppose I am a client, I am a caseworker, and you are revealing your informations, so in this regard I can't it is not my I shouldn't reveal all the informations to my friends, reveal all the informations, whatever informations you have told me, I can't just reveal all the informations to my friends, to my family, to other clients. So I have to maintain these things. I have to keep the informations in secret. I can't reveal your personal informations. Then The knowledge of human behavior helps in focusing the relevant aspects of the behavior. Here, the caseworker um, has the skill of understanding human behavior. He has the ability to understand the human behavior so that he can focus on the relevant aspects of the behavior. So he has the knowledge or understanding of the human behavior, which will help, he means the caseworker. The caseworker has he should have knowledge. He should have knowledge about the human behavior so that he can understand the behavioral aspects of the clients easily. Then comes evaluation. We have to evaluate. So evaluation, then the fifth stage of the casework process is evaluation. So what is evaluation? Evaluation is an activity of ascertaining whether casework service had received a desired result in a case or not. So here in this stage, the caseworker has to figure out whether the casework service had achieved a desired result, or whether the case had the casework service had achieved a desired result or not, whether we are successfully able to solve the problem of the client, or whether we are able to tackle the problem of the client or not. These things need to be evaluated in this stage. So it is the social worker reviewing of all the components of the casework process. So here the social caseworker has to review, make a review of all the components of the casework process. He has to review the whatever components of the casework we haven't discussed, the components person, place, then process, then therefore person, problem. So these components needs to be reviewed by the caseworker and make an appraisal of the results. So the caseworker has to measure or appraisal, or to make an appraisal of the result. Whatever result we have achieved till now, these results need to be appraised or measure. Evaluation seeks to find answer to questions like how the client problem has solved, has the client been held in accordance with the philosophical assumption and principles of the casework process, what tools and techniques were used and why. So here in this stage, the caseworker has to consider these things like, has the client's problem been solved, or has the client been held in accordance with the philosophical assumptions, like whatever philosophical assumptions are made with regard to the client, has these assumptions are able to deal with the problem of the case, deal with the problem of the client, and principles of the casework, or what tools and techniques were being used, and why those techniques are only being used, and why not these other techniques are not being used. So these things need to be considered. And if the client's problem is still unsolved, is there any forward movement in the case situation? So if still in certain cases the problem of the client may not is still tangled. So here the caseworker has to figure out why the client's problem has not been solved still. Why the problem has not been solved, why it has remained unsolved yet, or is there any forward movement in the case situation. The caseworker has to figure out, is there any forward movement in the casework. If the casework process has not produced any desired result, what are the reasons? So if the casework process, whatever process we have done, in the casework. So if the processes has not produced any desired result, why it has not produced any desired result, these things need to be figured out. So in the assessment, or sorry, in the evaluation stage, these things should be considered. So if why the problem has not been solved, or what techniques and tools are being used in order to solve the problem, or how or is there any like further is there any what we can do in the long run, is there any way or different techniques to deal with the problem. So such things need to be considered. So evaluation is an ongoing activity and find full scope and expression only after a period of activity. So here evaluation is an ongoing activity. So it is an ongoing activity. It will go. It will continue. It won't stop. It is an ongoing process, or it is an ongoing activity, and it finds full scope and expression only after a period of activity. So here it just gets an expression or scope only after a period, only after once we are done with sort of some activities, then we can just jump up to the evaluation stage. As the caseworker continues to offer services, as the caseworker continues to offer services, evaluation discrimination occurs to him at specific point of time regarding the strength, weakness or gaps in his social assessment, and regarding the failures and success of his way of helpfulness. So here while carrying out the evaluation process, the caseworker will be able to know the strength, weakness, gaps in the social assessment, etc. These things can be easily highlighted or can be easily bring to light. So what are these strengths? These things will be come to light. What are the strengths of the client? What are the weaknesses of the client? Or what are the gaps in his social assessment? And regarding the failure and success of his ways of helpfulness, and these things will be also come to light, like the failure and success of the ways of helpfulness. Then the next stage is sixth stage is termination. So every case is time bounded. So we can't it is a time bound for an affair and needs to be terminated more like one day or the other. So we can't just continue, or we can't do a case throughout our life. It has to be time bounded. So once we are done with the process, if it has to be terminated. So we need, every case is a time bound affair and needs to be terminated some time or the other. So we have to terminate a case. So we can't discuss a case, or we can't take a case for a long time. Every case needs to be terminated at a specific point of time. The closing of a case is also a planned activity within the casework process. So here the closing of a case is also planned activity. It comes within the stages. So when we are going to terminate the case, these things are planned before. So so it is also the closing of a case is also planned, is also an planned activity in the casework process. So now we will understand when we have to close a case. So when we are going to close a case, we can't just simply close a case. We on the basis of the following factors, we can close the case. So let's discuss when we can close or terminate a case. So we can close a case on the basis of the following factors or following reasons. We can terminate a case only when let's see when we can terminate a case. So the client has been helped according to the way planned and does not require any help. So we can terminate a case when we are sure that the client has been helped according to the way planned, the way we have planned, that we can we have just helped the client the way we have planned. Then we can terminate a case, and when we are sure that the client doesn't require any sort of help, then we can simply terminate our case. It is seen that in some cases that a point is reached when the client is able to manage his or her affairs independently. So when we are sure that the client doesn't require any further help and he or she is able to manage his own affairs independently, so only then we can terminate the case. So when we are sure that the client doesn't need our help anymore, he can tackle his problems by himself, then we can terminate the case. The client may entertain high expectations in the agency. Then what can be done? What can the latter do within the legitimate limits of functions? So in certain cases, we have seen that the client may have high expectations from the agencies which are not possible to reach. So maybe he has some kind of absurd expectations, or maybe some kind of expectations which cannot be fulfilled by the agency, so which is not beyond the capacity of the agency, or which is not possible. So in such a situation, the case can be terminated because there is some kind of legitimate limits and of any agency. So so the agency can't just can't break those legitimate limits. So here in this regard, the caseworker can terminate the case. Then third point is when the client is incooperative or not willing to solve the problem. In certain cases, we have seen that the caseworker, in certain cases we have seen that the client is not willing to solve his problem. He is not desiring to solve his problem. He wishes to remain in that stage. He doesn't want to bring changes in his life. So in such a situation, when the client himself doesn't want to solve his problem, then we can just terminate the case. In some situations, the parents of the client, or the wife of the client, or the family members are willing to solve the problem, are genuinely interested in solving his problem. But if the client is not interested or if he doesn't wish to solve his own problem, he is happy with the problem, or he doesn't have any interest or to solve the problem, then what happens? The caseworker can terminate the case. Because if the client is not willing to share his problems, or is sometimes uncooperative, it becomes very difficult to deal with that person, isn't it? So you can't just approach such kind of people who are not approachable. They are not it seems that they doesn't want to reveal information. They are not interested in solving their problems. So in such a situations, it's better to terminate the case. To sum up, social casework is one of the direct methods of social work which uses the case-to-case approach for dealing with the individuals, families with regard to their problems of social functioning. And the process, social casework process entails the following steps, that is study, intake, then assessment, then intervention, then evaluation and termination. So these are the steps. I hope that I am able to help you out through this video. So if you have any issue or any problem, just let me know in the comment section. We will try to discuss in the next classes. So thank you.